What is up, everyone? I'm the Headbanger. Welcome back to Horror's Ball Film Review Edition. I'll be doing a review. Last time I did one more recent film. I want to mix it up and do some new ones, some old ones, just to mix it up a little bit. So I'm not Irish. I'm not really big into the St. Patrick's Day holiday, but with it coming up, I felt it would be a lot of people like to party for that holiday. So I thought it would be quite apropos to do a film review on a film that contains something green to go along with St. Patrick's Day. And I don't know about you guys, when I think of green, I immediately think of frogs, toads. I like frogs and toads. So I was like, it worked well because that happens to be one of a subgenre of horror that I really like. Horror films containing frogs or toads. Films like one of my favorites, George McCowan's aptly titled horror film, Frogs. Other ones, films like Alright, so I slightly overestimated the subgenre of frogs and horror. But nonetheless, at least have a nice companion piece to George McCowan's Frogs. And that is 1972 film Psychomania, directed by Don Sharp. It's a story of a young biker gang called the Living Dead. Very cool, right? And they go around terrorizing the local community and having a lot of fun. And they wear these awesome, incredibly cheesy helmet, masks, goggles there, as you can see. Really cool. They wear the leather outfits, of course, and denim. And I gotta say this, the lead, Tom character, man, he looks fucking badass in his leather outfit. And if only this Tom looked that good in leather.
Hi.
So, take a ride on my hog?
Do I?
Of course you do. Yeah, he looks badass. But yeah, the film focuses basically on two characters of the biker gang. The couple, the characters Tom and Abby, I gotta say this, they played just a great job of these actors. Tom played by Nikki Henson, and Mary Larkin plays the Abby character. And they've had both of them have a pretty long career in acting and some pretty accomplished things. And I know Nikki Henson went on to do some theater and Shakespeare and stuff. So for such a cheesy movie, they do honestly a fantastic job in the two lead roles. So the film focuses particularly on their relationship, and again, this is a British film, very cheesy, quite cheeky, a really good time though. And it starts after you see them some nice race scenes and chase scenes, and basically the bike game just creating some havoc throughout the community, which are really great scenes throughout the film. We go to a graveyard, and being the old-fashioned romantic that Tom is, he takes Abby to a graveyard. We've all been there before. A lot of very relatable things in this film. So they, of course, begin to make out, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this makeout session was surely destined for some coitus. But Tom decides to put a halt midway through this makeout session, and he sees a frog, or a toad. He decides to grab the toad and begins suddenly feels compelled to talk to Abby about killing themselves and living on together in this afterworld, because nothing is more romantic, of course, than a suicide pact, right, ladies? And so she, of course, kind of turned off by this turn of events, and he goes home with his frog, and he has a quite spirited and fantastically cheesy conversation with his butler. He lives with his mother, his elderly mother, and a butler. His father had passed away. Later on, the details of what happened to his father are revealed. And so between this great conversation he has with his butler, and the frog, and a awesome frog amulet, and a scene where he is locked into a room with a mirror and fog and a frog in the mirror. After all that, he basically comes to the realization of his family's dark secret. His mother had made a certain deal with the devil, and he basically, after all that, learns that if he kills himself, he can come back to life and live on forever, basically being invincible. And the key, though, to that, of course, there's a stipulation with such a cool thing. You have to believe it when you kill yourself that you will come back to life. That's the key. You must believe that you will come back as the living dead. Otherwise, you will die. You will continue on as being dead. So he, of course, wants to come back to his buddies, his biker buddies, and tell them all about this thing that he's found out from his family. And of course, the number one reason is he wants to get his girlfriend Abby to do this so they can live on and continue to create chaos and just have fun and be bikers and fuck with the community. And many of his biker friends, of course, attempt to do this. And of course, first he immediately decides to kill himself, and he does come back. They have the funeral, and friends are all distraught, of course, and he comes back and shocks the whole group, of course. Then, got my order wrong there. Then they, of course, all want to do it themselves, and they want to live on as dead, happily ever after, and just fuck with the community and have a blast. Many of his biker friends are totally down to do this, and they all try various methods of suicide. Those scenes are fucking hilarious and a lot of fun, just over-the-top stuff. One of them does not make it because he, at the time, was a little apprehensive, and he did not believe it when he killed himself. So, of course, he ended up tragically dying for real. And the film progresses where Abby, his girlfriend, really has to make the choice of what she wants to do. And deep down, honestly, you kind of root for her, at least I did. She was, I think, good-hearted, but maybe just mixed up with a bad crowd. We've all been there before. And, her performance by Mary Larkin is really, a really strong performance. It's such a cheesy movie. Like I said, I really felt for her character and was really pulling for her to make the right decision, whatever that would be. And lots of great cheesy scenes. Again, lots of chases, lots of stunt work with the bikes. There's some great scenes of them just riding through people, knocking stuff over, breaking stuff. Great scene where they go through a grocery store. There's someone pushing a baby carriage and a stroller, and the one chick runs right into her, knocks the carriage over, and you hope the stroller, and you just, being horror fans, you just would have really liked to see the baby fly out of the stroller. But it was still good insinuation of debauchery nonetheless, and lots of great scenes like that, stunt work and crazy scenes with just fucking with the locals, and comes to a great conclusion, a great cheesy ending. And again, Abby has to make a decision for herself and what she wants to do with this, whether she wants to live on with Tom in this afterlife. And murders they continually murder people throughout the story, which of course gets the local law enforcement involved, and they of course trace it back to the Living Dead biker gang. As things escalate, Tom's mother realizes that she needs to put an end to this stuff with her son and his friends, and she of course decides to do what she needs to do to stop it, and that of course means a big sacrifice to end this power of being able to come back to life and live on forever, and ends up in a stirring conclusion. Very cheesy, very fun, just a blast. There's some great, I would recommend the 7 release of this film by the 7 label. They always put out good stuff. Great special features. They talked to Nikki Henson and Mary Larkin, some of the lead characters, and it's funny how much they essentially put down the film in a very, joking way and stuff. They're not like any grudges or anything about that, but they make fun of George Sanders, who played the butler, who had a pretty accomplished career in his own right, and Nikki Henson actually goes on to say how surprised he was that George Sanders did this film, why he would do it. Nikki Henson, who played the lead, Tom, goes on to say how he just did it because he was young, he had a new family, new wife and baby, he needed to do it. Mary Larkin is a little less derogatory about it, but she kind of just says, it's a fun B movie. She was young, she had fun. The other secondary character is a little more positive about the role, saying it's a great fun B movie. And again, Nikki Henson He says he enjoyed it, had a lot of fun with it. He's laughing a lot while he's talking, but yeah, he pretty much says it was a shit film, and he questions why George Sanders did it. And George Sanders, who played the butler, whose character later on is revealed to be much more important than first thought, he great anecdote about this film, and it really adds to the atmosphere and cult feel to it, is that he committed suicide a couple weeks after this film was made. Of course, the joke is, did he want to come back to life, all that. But I don't know whether this part is true or not, but supposedly he committed suicide literally a couple days after he saw the full screen of this film. So, with all due respect to the Sanders family, I think that's fucking hilarious and just adds to the mystique of Psychomania. So, highly recommended. A great 70s cheese. Has all you want in a film, and I think you should go check it out. Psychomania by Don Sharp, who went on to do some Hammer stuff. He did Kiss of the Vampire, some other cool stuff. So, kind of a cool film by him. So, thanks so much for watching, as always. For Horror's Ball, for Horror Happy Hour, I'm the Headbanger. We'll see you next time for film review. I'm out. Peace.